Welcome, welcome to the Heads Together podcast. I'm your host, Jill Mokes, and thank you for joining me again this week. So my guest on the podcast this week is the fabulous Dr. Kim Wilson. So Kim is an experienced medical doctor. She's a GP, and she has a really particular interest in the fundamentals of true health. So that's like health from the roots up. It's like nutrition, gut health, microbiome, sleep, movement, meditation. It's really taking a more holistic view than most doctors, I think, do. But Dr. Kim is also a highly acclaimed deep transformational coach. And she focuses on deep mindset coaching with her clients. She works with a lot of professional athletes. Her unique and really impactful coaching model helps her clients get clarity and understanding over the real inner workings of their own mind. Dr. Kim's clients really experience a true freedom from the constraints of their own minds. One of the things I really love about Kim is that she is one of the most genuine people that I've met, whose desire to really serve her clients in the best way she possibly can. And you can just tell that's her absolute purpose. It's her real motivation for having her coaching practice. And I think she's pretty inspirational. I think you're going to love hearing from her. So let's jump in. Welcome to the Heads Together podcast. I'm Jill Mokes, and I am obsessed with cutting through the noise when it comes to growing your business. Each week, via intimate coaching conversations and inspirational stories, I share what it really takes to get the results you want in a way that feels right to you. I am all about attracting higher ticket opportunities, building authentic relationships, and creating the abundant, full-fat version of your dream business. I mean, how many of us have beavered away creating a light version of what we really want? The thing is, I honestly believe when you're outstanding at what you do, there is no limit to what you can achieve. So, are you ready to put our heads together and make it happen? Let's go. Hey, Kim, welcome to Heads Together podcast. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. It's so good to have you here. It's been a while since we spoke, actually. We haven't caught up for a while, so I'm really happy to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Can I get you to introduce yourself and just tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and what has brought you to what you do today? Because you have a really dual aspect in a way, but maybe not so dual. I'd love to hear a bit more about how you've got to where you are right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a doctor. I'm also a deep transformational coach and a mother and a wife and the rest of it. And I've been a doctor for many years, and I have seen a lot, heard a lot, been very privileged to be in a position where I've seen people at their most vulnerable, and I've really seen what suffering is as opposed to what people think it is. And I've been passionate for years now about really looking under the hood, what's really going on, and working from that point really in terms of healing people and helping people. I've been passionate about helping people since I was a child, natural transition into medicine. Particularly over the last at least 10 years, my bag has been about really treating people as an individual that they are, listening to where they're coming from, and finding out what is going on underneath the hood that is leading to the spectrum of dis-ease, otherwise known as disease, that is presenting. So from a physical point of view, that looks like what has gone wrong years before the disease started, from an immunological, gut health, nutrition, sleep. I practice very holistically. It's called lifestyle medicine in this country. Looking at the pillars of true health as opposed to disease or symptom absence. You know what I mean? So this has been my passion for years, not only treating people as individuals, but really looking what's going on under the hood that's causing the problem, rather than dealing with symptoms, labels, diagnoses, one after the other. So I've been doing that for some time.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, as healthcare has progressed, disease levels skyrocketing, patient numbers going up, it's become fighting fires left, right, and centre. And it has become necessary to, in a lot of circumstances, dole out drugs, dole out diagnoses, just try and help as many people as possible. And it becomes increasingly more difficult to sort of spend that time and to really establish what's going on.
I can imagine. That must feel quite frustrating, I should think, if that's your passion, is to come at it from that angle. The kind of pressure that you must be under to get people in, out, through the door, prescribe, in, out, through the door, prescribe. That must be really frustrating for someone like you.
It was frustrating for me for years because I refused to treat people as a label, as a diagnosis. Historically, when you do the ward rounds in hospital, it's like the DVT in bed 1 and the pneumonia in bed 2, and I'd be there going, sorry, you mean Mrs. So-and-so in bed 2 and Mr. So-and-so in bed 1? For me, that was a frustration for many years. And so I got to the point where I would burn out time and time again. I would get stressed. I would overwork. I would do all this just to try and deliver the kind of healthcare that I wanted to deliver. And, we've all been at that kind of level in our career numerous times, particularly in my profession. Before something breaks, something has to change. So for me, this was when I had my babies. As our mothers, it changes everything. It changes our perspective on life, where we've been, where we're going. Our priorities change overnight. Our whole sort of aperture changes. And obviously we have some time out from what it is that we're doing to step back and to think, what am I doing? How am I helping? Your health starts to matter on another level because you start to realize you're responsible for another human. So you've got to start looking after your health. And the other thing that having children I find brings up in you is all your triggers, all your mental stuff that you might have managed to ignore, suppress, whatever, until then. There's no getting away from that when you have kids and you're sleep deprived. And so I delved into that opportunity every time I had a kid, and cumulatively led to me really studying things like functional medicine, root cause analysis of disease, lifestyle medicine, and really starting to help people from a more holistic mindset, but starting with myself, my health, and then my mind. And it took for me being broken, absolutely broken on another level twice, until I got the message and decided to do the work. And when I did the work on me, I was then able to do the work for other people. So that's what led me on the journey I've been on to today.
And so just thinking about time frames. So when did you kind of have this realization that you couldn't just do the work you were doing for the NHS? You had to find a way to help people on your terms, perhaps, might be a good way of saying it. And what did that look like for you?
I started to educate the doctors around me and the nurses around me, doing workshops of things in work, teaching them about fundamental aspects that they're previously unaware of because we're not trained in medical school: nutrition, gut health, microbiome, sleep medicine, circadian physiology. It blew their minds, and it helped them embrace their health. And then as a team, we've helped to bring that to our patients as well. It's a small scale, but I have to start somewhere. And that's been transformational. And that's led to me creating the workshops that I now deliver online for a wider population in aspects of true health. But it wasn't really until I started looking at my mental health where the big shifts made a difference, not only for me, but in how I show up in my work and for my clients and patients as well. I nailed the diet and the microbiome and the nutrition, the sleep, but there's still things weren't changing until I decided to go there and do the deep work on my mind. And that just changed my whole life, changed my perspective on everything that I'm doing.
What was the deep work that you did? Did you go and train, or was it just kind of your own research and going deep into this side of things?
So I was fortunate enough to be coached and then mentored by some of the best coaches in the world. It was obviously part of my journey that was meant to happen, and it happened over a number of years. And I mean, pre me doing the work, you wouldn't recognize me. You know, I was anxious.
Really?
I was a procrastinator. I was a perfectionist on another level. I had sort of OCD tendencies. I needed to control everything just to feel safe, to feel okay. I was apologizing for myself. I was judging myself like all the freaking time. And it was never good enough. And I was just burning myself out, trying to be everything and do everything. And then realizing that I wasn't good enough anyway, and I wasn't safe anyway. And so I did the work. The deep transformational coaching that I experienced was revolutionary for me. I literally, these programs in my mind that I was running, I didn't even know I was running, dissolved, literally dissolved. Like I just let go of fear. I let go of fear and all the ways in that it showed up in my life, in my relationships, I didn't even realize in the way that I parent my children. One thing when my mentor said to me at the time is like, children will never really succeed in doing what you tell them to do, but they will never fail to do what they see you.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
I thought, that's so bloody right.
Mm.
That was part of the inspiration for me to go there and to do the work. And I thought, it's not about me controlling circumstance or people or ensuring this or fixing that or fighting. No, it's about slowing down. It's about who am I being? It's about how am I showing up? Am I showing up authentically, or am I showing up in a way that's just surpassing my fear? Is just trying to suppress my imposter syndrome. I need to be enough, to be valued, to be loved. All this. It was about letting go of all of that. And the mother it made me is the mother I want to be. And the doctor it made me is the doctor I want to be.
Oh, I love that. So you went from being really completely broken in terms of burnout, in terms of not functioning in the way you wanted to as a parent, as a wife, as a doctor. And yet this really deep coaching that was completely transformational for you has just changed everything. It allowed you to show up, like you say, as the parent you want to be, as the doctor you want to be. So what came next then? Because I'm assuming, because I know as a deep transformational coach yourself, what was that journey then from, this is an amazing experience, to I want to be able to facilitate this kind of transformation for other people?
Yeah, for me, it was an organic one. So I was trained in the various modalities of transformational coaching, formally and informally, as part of my journey. And I've been trained in what I call somatic methods for about 10 or 15 years. This is things like EFT, something called matrix re-imprinting, which is a bit like IFS. And I brought it all together and I just started coaching people because I thought, I get this now. I can bring this to other people. And it became quickly apparent to me that I had a real gift in doing this. I was holding space for people who were having incredible, life-changing transformation as a result of the coaching that I was doing for them. And because I was being me and I was bringing in all of the modalities that I'm trained in, but my level of experience and a whole lot of me, as opposed to who I'm trying to be or who I think I should be.
Bringing your own lived experience.
Exactly. And I found that because I'd let go a lot of my stuff, that there wasn't a narrative in my mind when people were talking to me at all. So I was able to show up completely with them, for them, and hold that space for them. That was part of the reason why people were having the transformations that they did. So I did it and I did it and I did it again. I thought, this is massive. Like, people are having incredible transformations. People are coming back time and time again and referring friends and family. And my coaching business took up almost overnight, and it never stopped. I've never advertised because I've never needed to, and people have just come organically because of the shifts that they have.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask you there, because I know there are people listening who are like, damn, like, how has she just got it to take off like that? How has that happened? Because what I see a lot at the moment is that people are completing their coach training, and then this harsh reality of finding clients is hitting them, and it's something that they're struggling with. And I want to caveat it by first saying that I want people to just listen to really carefully to something you said just now, which was that as soon as you realized that you wanted to be a coach, you got your training. So you did your own training. You learned how to be a great coach. And then you did something amazing. You just started coaching. And I think this is going to sound really ridiculous, but I do think that there are so many people who are always stuck getting ready to get ready, and they're working on their website and their marketing plan and their all of these things, which are all absolutely fabulous and great to have. And as coaches who want to build big thriving practices and potentially scale to big thriving businesses, well, yeah, there's going to be a time and a place for all of those things. But I think that it's really cart before the horse with a lot of people. And for most coaches, if you can just straight out the door, just coach as many people as you can so that you're getting better and better at that skill and getting better and better results. And you said yourself, you just started coaching people and those people referred other people to you because you were that good. And that's the non-negotiable, isn't it? That's the non-negotiable as a coach. People can complain and whine all they like about how hard it is, to grow their business. But actually, it's about being really good, getting really good results for your clients. That's what's going to grow your business. So I just had to kind of put that in there because I was so happy that you just said, I trained and then I just started coaching people, right? So, but I really do want to unpack a little bit about how did it take off? Aside from getting these referrals, you didn't market yourself, you didn't shout about it. Do you specialize in a particular type of coaching? Is there a particular methodology or a particular kind of person that you work with the most? Or, what does that look like for you?
So to your first question, in terms of going out there and coaching and getting clients, I was taught from day one, you want to be a coach, go coach. So for me, that looked like coaching, having conversations with people not about who I am and what I do and how I do it, but about who are you and what are you suffering with right now and how can I help you with that? One of the main lines that have helped me in my coaching journey is serve first. Serve first. So it's about the person in front of me that I might be sat next to on a bus. I might be on a phone call with. I might, sit next to in a bar or whatever it may be. And they're an individual and they have a story and they want to be heard. I am here to hear them and to hold that kind of level of space for someone. And not many people are used to having that completely non-judgmental space held for them. And people open up in that space. And from that space, I'm able to help them. And I've found that organically, they've then gone, I need this in my life. I can see how this could transform my life. Let me know how I work with you. We don't get clients, we create them, and we create them by serving first. And that's always been my motto, not only as a business strategy, but because predominantly that's why I'm freaking doing it, to help people. I wouldn't be here from day one if I didn't. So that served me well. To the second part of your question, in terms of the type of coaching that I do deep transformational mindset coaching predominantly. So what that is a lot deeper than standard coaching that may work in the realm of there was a problem and coaching around the problem, through the problem, looking at strategies to deal with the problem. Deep transformational coaching works deeper than the level of that. So there is no problem, there's just a perception, and there is a reason why that perception is there. Okay. And it'll be seated in one of what we call the 3 primal prisons of the human mind.
Ding.
Number 1, inadequacy. I am, fill in the blank, not enough. I'm not clever enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough.
Right.
I'm not a good enough mum. I'm not a good enough whatever. I'm just not good enough. Okay. That's the biggest one that I see. Okay. And what happens is people are running these programs from a very young age and they're quite often unaware either of the program or the extent at which it's running their life. It started to become part of their personality. It's affecting how they show up in relationship, in career, as a parent, you name it. Okay. And they develop certain what we call behavioral adaptations. Okay? So these might be perfectionism, because if I can get it perfect, I can prove that I'm good enough. People pleasing. If people like me, they won't look under the hood and see that I'm just not good enough. Imposter syndrome has its roots in inadequacy, because if I wasn't inadequate, how am I an imposter in life? I'm not. So it feeds into procrastination. If you're not good enough, then what have you got to worry about? You're just going to go and do your thing because you've got nothing to prove. You've got nothing to compensate for. So anyway, that's the biggest one. The other two primal prisons of the human mind that I uncover through the process of the deep coaching are insecurity and scarcity. So insecurity may show up with, again, certain behavioral adaptations such as checking again, perfectionism, OCD kind of tendencies, fear for no reason, irrational fear, worrying about this and then worrying about that, needing to control people and circumstances so that I am safe and so that I can keep everybody else safe, because fundamentally the world is not safe and it's my place to ensure that it is. And I can't let that drop, because I let that drop, we don't survive, because fundamentally I am living out of the box of I or it or the world is not safe. That runs people's lives. It affects their relationship. It affects how they show up. It affects, this is what I mean, it's deep roots. Because it's not dealing with one problem. It's dealing with what the perception is that led to that problem. And then when we identify through the process of deep coaching what the deeper level belief, box, context, whatever it may be, is, we then go through the process of coaches, dissolve it. I mean, literally dissolve it.
What do you mean by that? Tell me what you mean by dissolve it. What does that feel like as a client?
So a client may come, for example, so I work with professional athletes, for example. So they might come with, they're playing the game, they're doing their thing, and then every now and then when it gets certain things happens, they jam up, fear. They don't want to let people down, or they don't want people to see that they're just not good enough, essentially. So they might overwork, might keep getting injured, or they might not put themselves out there and take the risk on the shot, whatever it is they need to do to win, because of fear. And they know that, and they've done the sports psychology, and they know the tricks, the tools, but it keeps showing up, and they don't understand why. Okay. So through the process of deep coaching, we will uncover the roots of the inadequacy, where it came from. This is not psychoanalysis. It's not psychotherapy. It's not therapy. It's not counseling. It's coaching. And from that space, when it all becomes bare, what it is that they fundamentally believed about themselves, we start to explore how true that is. Similar to Byron Katie's methods, Peter Crone's methods, we start to explore how true that actually is. And we start to explore what evidence they may have accumulated as to why they think that is the case. And through the process of the coaching, we dissolve the whole concept. And the reason I use the word dissolve is because it literally goes. It's not a trick. It's not a tool. They don't have to go and do something. There's no method that they have to go through every time they're triggered into. It dissolves. And what people feel viscerally is such an incredible sense of freedom. Right? Often you'll say to somebody, how do you feel? They'll say, free. I just feel so light. I feel so loose. I feel like, I can let so much go. They just let it go. And they're like, holy whatever. I can go do the thing. I can go be me. I can do what I want to do. I can be who I want to be because I've got nothing to compensate for. And I never did. And this is where people start to heal their past as well, in terms of how they judge their past as being wrong or should have been different. We start to go there and we pull the whole thing up at the roots, to the point where people just become very present in the here and now, and fair enough. They don't know it, they feel it, because it's a gnosis. And freedom is the product, if you will. Freedom, mental freedom from the constraints of the mind, has its ripple effect in all areas of their life. And so first of all, we identify it, then we dissolve it, then we start to explore and integrate what life looks like in the absence of it. And it's just, it makes me emotional. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it can't go away because it's gone. So it's not like, I'm going to go back like I was. No, because that wasn't who you were in the first place.
But I think with any coaching, there is this fear that, it's all right all the time I'm seeing you or talking to you, but how will I manage, when I've got to just cope with this on my own? I think what's beautiful about this kind of coaching is, like you say, it's nonsensical to even think that way afterwards, because it has actually gone and there has been a complete, it's not even a reframe. It's a realization, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no sort of mind game to play to get out of it. And people, depending on how old they are, they've been running these programs for some time. So the essence of the belief dissolves, and then life will trigger them for a period of time. We'll be like, oh, hang on, that triggered me because of this, but that's not true. And they just let it go, and they let it go, and they let it go. So people really start to understand the inner workings of their mind to a point they can actually watch their mind doing all what it was done previously on autopilot and still be okay and go do the thing anyway. It's like a separation from the inner workings of the mind that they can still show up as them. And one of the things that I see as people go through that process is they come into the process judging themselves, judging others, judging the world, because they got the memo from the universe that says they know how everyone should behave and how everything should be. As they go through the process of coaching, they start to stop judging life and others, because they recognize everyone's on their journey doing what they're doing, and actually there's no bearing to them whatsoever. They just thought it did. And then they start recognizing their own mind, and they start noticing how much their own mind was judging others and themselves in line with this belief of I need to be enough or I need to be safe. So then they start judging themselves for judging. That's a hurdle that we go through in the coaching. And when we stop judging ourselves for judging, we allow the mind to do whatever it's programmed to do, and we get on with the thing anyway. We no longer identify with it. And that's where the real power comes in. For me as a coach and as a doctor, my job is to do what I do, but also to leave somebody in a place where they don't need me anymore. Because one, their problems have dissolved, and two, they have such a level of understanding of their own mind. They can watch it, they can, have sympathy for it at times, but it's no longer who they are, and it's no longer controlling what they do. That's real power. That's what I invite people into. And that's it. From that place, they don't need me anymore.
Right. Just thinking about something you said, which was that, this isn't therapy, this is coaching. But I think that as I listen to you, there are elements of this that do sound quite therapeutic to me. I'm interested, I suppose, in what kind of problems are typical of the things that you deal with this kind of coaching. What kind of things do you work with your clients around?
So you're right, it's therapeutic, it's not therapy. It's definitely therapeutic. I've had clients that have come to me that have had therapy, have had sports psychology, have had psychotherapy, have had hypnosis, have had all these things. They've helped for a point, but because they're working in they're excellent modalities of healing people. But the limit I've seen is that they get to a certain point, but the loop still happens because they're still running the same deeper programs. So there's no therapeutic steps or stages or mind games, etc., to put into place. It's individualized and it's organic, and it's coaching, which means the client does the work. I'm there to hold the space for them and guide them where necessary, but because they do the work, they have the realizations, they then go away and integrate those realizations. Then they're deciding how that goes, because they are them and they are in their life, and I'm there to support them doing that. This is coaching. It's therapeutic coaching, but it's not therapy in that respect. In terms of who I work with, I work with professional athletes around procrastination, people pleasing, limiting themselves to anxiety and fear, and various other aspects of that. I work with individuals, mainly women. I do work with men as well. I seem to attract a lot of women, and I work with business leaders. They all come with their own problem. So some of them, it may be, I just want to focus on my relationship. I may want to focus on my career. I want to focus on my health. But through the process of coaching, it transpired all areas of their life. The common things that I see would be procrastination. That's very common.
Yeah.
Can't stop doing it. Don't understand why they do it. I've tried various things to stop doing it, but it doesn't work.
We're back to that prisons of the mind, aren't we?
Prisons of the mind. Yeah. Basically, these are all not, people come with these things because this is my problem. I can't let this thing go. I can't let go of the control. I can't not put 500 things on my to-do list and then beat myself up because I didn't do them. I can't let go of whatever it may be, X, Y, Z. But the problem is not the problem. It's the behavioral adaptation to the problem. And the problem is a perception. So there's quite a wide range of things that I help people with. That they would be the most common: anxiety, fear, procrastination, imposter syndrome is a common one, particularly in entrepreneurs and coaches and business leaders, and it limits people. You were speaking before with regards to the problems coaches have when they come out of coaching school and they've set their website up and they want to go do the thing, but they don't know how to, or they're held back by, well, what if it fails? What if people realize I'm actually a rubbish coach? What if people realize I'm just not good enough? What if the whole thing's come crashing down and I have no money because I'm living in a box of scarcity?
Catastrophizing right, left and centre.
Yeah, I mean, we might do it openly or we might just be running in the back of our mind, but it's limiting us. Yeah, so that's probably why I was able to do what I did, because I wasn't running those programs anymore. So this is the kind of things that I help business leaders and coaches particularly with: get out of their own way without tools and tricks, and start to explore what life looks like from that space.
Amazing. What is incredible to me is that your journey to doing this really deep work has been so organic, hasn't it? It's really like a incredibly natural, linear. It sounds linear. I'm sure it doesn't feel like it was very linear when you were living it, but it really does sound it as you describe it, and that, you know, you underwent your own transformation and realized that, or certainly felt called to bring about that for other people. What's next for you? So what's happening with the business now? What are your plans? What's the dream for you in your own business?
I'm living the dream. I'm already there. And I'm fully committed and unattached to outcomes. So I am committed to growing my business because I'm committed to helping as many people as possible in whatever way that looks like. Okay. So I'm happy and I'm committed to growing. Yeah. So I have aspirations and I have ambitions and dreams, not because I'm trying to get somewhere because I'm already there, but I can do more and I'm going to enjoy doing that. So that's where I come from.
Isn't that the best motivation to grow a business? Is I need to grow my business to accommodate all of the people I want to help. And I always think that's such a brilliant frame to look at it through, rather than I want to grow my business to make more money. I need to grow my business because it has to be bigger in order to accommodate all of the people I want to help. I love that. And I think as coaches, that should always be our frame for looking at our businesses. It's why we're in business, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It goes back to, serve first. And I add to that is love first. And it might sound a little bit esoteric, but what I mean by that is, like, remember the passion that brought you into this. Remember the passion that drives you to do what you're doing and to put yourself out there and to help people in the way that we can. Hold on to that and remember that in everything that you're doing. And if you bring that into whatever projects we're doing, whatever we're creating in terms of workshops or group things or individual coaching, put in the person that you're helping first and foremost. And whether that be a group of people or one individual, you're never going to fail, because that's what people want. People want to be heard. They want to be seen, and they want it to be okay. They want to feel safe. They want to feel okay. They want to feel enough, but they want to be seen and heard in this world. And there's very few, I find, opportunities in this world where you can come to either a workshop or a coaching space where it's about you, but not in a scary way. It's about you to be you and to explore who you is in the absence of who you feel you should be or you need to be.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel I have a responsibility now that I have the skills that I have and the experience that I have to try and help as many people as possible to experience that in their own life, particularly with women, I find, because we're mothers, we're sisters, we're daughters, we're household runners, we're business leaders, we're all of it. And when you start with us, the ripple effect is incredible. That's not discounting men. Men are awesome, and I love working with men for a whole totally different set of reasons. And what I found when you work with women is the ripple effect is endless.
Yeah, I think that's true. I agree with you. So if anyone's listening now and they want to learn more about what you do, which I know they will, where can they find you? Where can they find out more?
So the easiest place would be my website, nice and simple, drkimwilson.com. So that explains what I do, how I do it, how to contact me. It's all on there, and there's a way to contact me directly and or book a free discovery call if you're called to do so through there as well. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
I'll put all the links in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, or you can just Google Dr. Kim Wilson. It comes up for Google as well as there, my shiny green top. You'll find me quite easily.
In the shiny green top, everyone. Look out for the shiny green.
It's either going to be shiny green or shiny orange. I'm a colourful person. You'll notice me.
Oh, Kim, thank you so much. It's been great to talk to you today. I have lots of conversations with lots of coaches, and you stand out to me as someone who is incredibly passionate about what you do, and you're very genuine as well. You're really genuine about that desire it comes from a desire to help. And I think that really radiates out of you. So thank you for coming on and sharing all of that with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and that getting our heads together this week has filled your mind with what's possible. If you love the show, would you do me a massive favour, please? Would you leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts? It would really help me put more heads together, reach more ears and expand more minds. Until next week, bye for now.